Hey guys, and welcome to the video. Today we're going to be playing around with this palette that we just got in our IPSY June 2026 extra bags. That's like a mouthful. This is the Moonslice Beauty palette. It's the Celestial Crush eyeshadow and pressed pigment palette, or I guess Moonslice Beauty is the brand and that's the name of the palette. So we're going to be playing with this today. The colors are gorgeous. I don't want to like say this looks like this, but it's giving color pop and I'm here for it. And it's so cute. I swatched these in IPSY and I was like, these feel really nice and interesting. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna see what this palette is all about. If you're wondering, Bronzer and Blush today did a review on the Fenty Beauty and the NARS. This is a bronzer and a liquid blush. 10 out of 10. Definitely go check them out. I have a bunch of reviews. New Summer Fridays, Butter Bronzer Balm, Elf, Make It Forever, and lots more are coming soon, so stay tuned. Anyways, I am going to go ahead and get started, so don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. Do not forget to subscribe because your girl has lost so many subscribers here recently, because I wouldn't even say recently, it's just been over the last year and a half to 2 years that I haven't been on YouTube, so go ahead and subscribe to your girl. It would mean a lot. And let's go ahead and get started. Alrighty, so I have prepped my eyes with my MAC paint pot and we are ready to get this party started. So let's see, what shade should we use? I think we should go for 2 different looks today. How about that? We'll do kind of like a pinky look and a more neutral look, maybe, since there's kind of like a neutrally pinky situation, but then there's like purple. I don't know. We're just gonna see where the dream takes us, okay? Yeah, let's start out with the shade Teddy here, which is this mauve purple. And we are going to just apply. See how there's like all this powder in the palette when you do that? It might be bad because it's the fallout, but that's a telltale sign that it's gonna be very blendable. So I'm looking forward to that. Well, let me zoom you in. Okay. So I'm going to start by just kind of tapping it all up here. Cute. A little bit more. She's pigmented, okay. Wow. I'm gonna start dragging the shade outward, just like that. Perfect. I kind of like looking at the color just by itself. It's actually really pretty. Okay, using the same brush, I'm gonna take this shade here, Timeless, and I think I'm just gonna add like a small amount underneath that and kind of like blend around. She's very pigmented, so I'm just gonna try to keep it lower and in the crease to kind of like marry those 2 colors together. And I only started with a tiny little bit of product, so it's already looking really pigmented. And they're blending together really well too. I'm actually so surprised. Wow. Wow, she's cute. She is cute. And I'm trying to focus this mostly on the like middle outer portion of my eye and not so much here because I don't want to like try and close my eye as much, because if you do that, it kind of like closes it in, and I kind of want to just keep it nice and wide, if that makes sense. I haven't, like, you guys know I haven't filmed in so long. It's like really hard to describe things. I'm gonna take the shade Berry, again on the same brush, and I'm gonna focus this color on my outer portion of my eye. Now, it does say that this is a pressed pigment, also eyeshadow palette, so I would be very careful with these pink shades. So if you're like experimenting before work or something and you don't like your eye look, it's probably going to stain the eye. So just be aware of that. If you're going to play with this, do it on like a day off or a weekend, or when you're not planning on leaving your house, just in case if you don't like it, you have time to like fix it, conceal over it, all of that. That looks so good. That looks really good. I'm gonna go back in with the shade Teddy here, and I'm gonna do my lower lash line with that. And then I'm going to take a tiny bit of this shade Berry, the darker shade that we use for the outer portion of the eye, and I'm just going to add a tiny bit to this outer portion just to kind of blend the bottom to the top. And you also want to be a little bit careful with the fallout, because you can see I have a little bit right here. So we'll have to clean that up a little bit with concealer if it'll come off. Anytime, like usually you play with pressed pigments, you want to do your eye makeup first. So like if anything falls, it doesn't stain like your makeup that you've already done, and it's really hard to fix. So I always recommend doing any kind of pressed pigments, or really anything that's like pinks, or like if you're gonna play with a lot of darker shades, I would probably put your eyes on first before the face. Okay, so now we have to pick a shimmer to put on top. So I'm gonna do some swatches so we can see these colors and what we want to do. Okay, so I have 4 shades swatched. I kind of thought this shade was gonna have kind of like a reddish tint to it. It's a little more like orange, but the top shade is Peony, which is this color right here. The second shade is actually Groovy, which is right here. Sorry. And then the next shade is this purple shade here, which is called Grape Soda. And then Romance right here is that bottom shade. You see where I thought it was going to have like a red tint to it or something, and it's a little more kind of like a bronzy, orangey red? I don't know. So I think what I'm going to do, obviously we're going to do the light pink, probably in the intersection, and then the darker pink Groovy on the outer, but I kind of want to throw a little purple in there, so maybe I'll just kind of dab a little purple on top. So I'm just going to use my finger. I'm going to start with Groovy, which is the darker pink shade, and I'm going to apply this to my outer lid, and I'm just going to use my finger. And I'm pretty much just going to do it on the center of my eye, and I do bring my shimmer shades up because they're just going to go up there anyways because I have hooded eyes. So if you go ahead and bring it up, it'll look uniform and it won't be like open close sporadic, if you know what I mean. Now I'm going to take Peony, which is that light pink shade, and I'm going to press that on the inner portion of my eye and bring that up a little bit and marry them in the middle. Look how pretty that is. Very pretty. And then I'm gonna take grape soda, just a little bit. I'm gonna start on the outer corner and I'm just gonna press that over it a little bit, not all the way to my inner corner, but just on top. Gorge. Okay, so that's the first look. It actually looks really good. You guys are gonna be really happy with this palette so far. Now we're gonna go for like a more neutral look since we have some neutral shades in here. Okay, so I think I'm gonna start out with Milky, because when I swatched this shade the other day when I did my unboxing, it was like really pigmented. So let's just do that right here. Look how pigmented that shade is. So pigmented. Great. I am going to apply this all over the lid. I have a clean brush here. So yeah, let's do Milky. And I'm just doing a light hand because, you know, we don't want to overdo it and mess up by thinking we're just super confident, and we're not, you know, one of those situations. So it is pretty pigmented. This is probably one of those shades that's going to be really good for blending because you can't really see it so much on the eye, but it's definitely there. So definitely a good blendy shade. Let's go with, because these shades are kind of like neutral and dark. You see how we have like this brown and then this like black, and then we have Smoothie here, which is a little orangey, but it's like more of our neutral tone. I'm gonna take Smoothie and we're gonna see what this shade is all about. So a light hand, I don't know what I'm going to be expecting. Okay. Very cute. This is a lot less orange than I thought it was gonna be. It definitely is more like a pastel kind of color, where it's got that more fluorescent tone to it, if that makes sense. So I'm not sure how much more neutral we're going to be able to get here, but here's this fluorescent tone, which I was going to pair with the brown, but now I think I'm going to add a little bit of Crush. No, we'll go back with Teddy to see like how we can make it a little more neutral, because that is a very bright shade. So I'm just kind of going right on over what I already did to make those two colors kind of blend together and make a whole new color, which actually looks really pretty. I'm gonna bring it out some. There. Cool. And then I take Milky, which is that white shade, and I'm gonna blend over that just a little bit. And then going back in with Smoothie, which is that more fluorescent-y orange, I'm going over that again. Great. Okay. Now we're going to take the shade Brownie, which is the brown shade, and we're going to hope we're not going to mess this look up. We're just going to take a little bit. This one is not as powdery, so that's good. Might not have to worry about fallout. And then I'm going to focus this on the outer corner. I'm just gonna stamp it. And then start to blend since I've set the color on my lid. Okay, this is looking good. This is exactly what I was hoping for. Wow, this palette's actually so good. Add a little bit more brownie. I want to bring it out more. Yep. And then I want to take Classy, which is your like black. It might even have like a purple undertone to it. I'm not entirely sure. It's just giving, it looks like it might. But then again, looks have been deceiving so far in this palette. And I'm just going to focus it lower and bring it out. I definitely think that added just a slight bit more of depth. Groovy, perfect. Okay, and then taking my little brush again, I need to do something with the lower lash line. So I'm gonna take Teddy, which is your little purpley mauve shade. I'm gonna go ahead and do my lower lash line with it. And then take a brownie and do the outer portion of my under eye and bring that in with the rest of the shades. Boom, boom. I said this one was gonna be a little more neutral, but I mean, like, you know, it still has those hues of it not being neutral. But when I think of neutral, I think of bronzy and goldy, which is the shades I really wanted to use in this palette. So let me go ahead and swatch, but I'll use this hand. Okay, so here are the shades on the back of my hand. This top one is goldy, then we have bronzy, we have starry, and then crush, which is a matte shade, and it's the only shade I did not use in the palette or swatched on the back of my hand. So here we have side by side, we got goldy, bronzy, starry, and crush here. So these are also really pretty. I think I'm gonna do what I did with this eye, and I'm gonna take Goldie, which is the top shade, and apply it to my inner portion. I'm gonna do Bronzy, the outer portion, and I'm just gonna like put Starry a little bit all over the lid, just because I feel like it's fun and we can do what we want. So here's Bronzy. I'm gonna do that on the outer portion of the eye. It doesn't necessarily go with this eye look so much because of that pink situation going on, but we're just gonna see, because why have a palette with like golds and bronzes if you're not gonna use them, you know? So it's gonna all mend together, I'm sure. So we have the outer portion done. Now we're gonna do the inner. So that's what this looks like, and of course, why stop there? So let's take Starry and just mix a little bit. And those are my my 2 eye looks. So here we go. Does it look good? I can't tell, I can't see. Imagine with some liner and some lashes. Girl. And then we have our swatches. Ooh, looking good. Look, these are actually really pretty. Look at this. They're so shiny. Oh my god, it's like a butterfly. Okay, that is it for this video. Let me know what you think. I'm definitely gonna go ahead and get this video up today. So you guys, if you see this as a choice, because tomorrow's choice day, and you're like, I don't know if I want it, I don't know, you'll know now if you want it or not. If these are the kinds of shades you want to use, then there you go. Anyways, that's it for this video. Give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, follow along. It would mean a lot to me. And let me know what you want to see next from me. Love you so much.